relatively. You guys probably have seen, I posted a meme this morning where I basically, stated that for 400 years, the Ottoman Empire ruled what is the land of Israel. They ruled it from the year 1517 until 1917 or 18, with a quick 30-year kind of break. I think it was from 1831 to 1840 when the king, some cleric of Egypt, tried to take over, and then they took it back. Right? In that time span, guys, pretty much anybody you could think of lived in the land of Israel. Jews lived there, Arabs lived there, Ottoman Turks lived there, Christians lived there, and later on the British came, right? They came even before, and Germans also came. That's why we have a place in Jerusalem called German Colony. So, in that 400-year time span, guys, no one, when I say no one, I mean no one in the Arab world was screaming, free Palestine, occupation is a crime, at the Ottoman Turks. Arabs were not, with the exception of like a few people, most of the Muslim world didn't really care. No one, as far as I can tell, no one in Europe cared. No one in America cared. In fact, everybody knew that the land really belongs to the Jews. Even the Christians who were saying that, the Jews were cursed, the Jews were kicked out of the land for not believing in, Mr. JC, whatever. Everybody pretty much knew in their heart of hearts that the land really, who it really belongs to. Especially, guys, since Hasidic Jews started coming back to the land en masse in the 1800s. They were the first ones that came back before the founding of the State of Israel, at least 100 years, if not more, and started buying up land. You know the story. For those of you who don't know the story, that's the story. They built towns called Petach Tikva, Rosh Pina, Rishon LeZion, and a few others. So, my friends, for 400 years, from the year 1517 until the year 1918, not a peep from the world. What does that mean, my friends? That means that this has nothing to do with freeing Palestine or giving anybody a Palestinian or giving any Arabs from any tribe, from any country, nation state, a Palestinian state. It has to do with the fact that the Jews came back to the land of Israel, which is what? It's a big theological problem for Muslims, ladies and gentlemen. It's a theological problem for Arabs. It's a theological problem for Muslims in Africa. It's a big theological problem for Muslims in, the Iranian regime. It's a big theological problem for Muslims in Central Asia, Dagestan, Uzbekistan, all the stands, Indonesia, any Muslim on earth. The fact that this cursed people, supposed cursed people, came back to their land, however they came back, is a big, and the fact that we have synagogues there, and Torah, all the rest of it, and the Kotel, and prayers, and everything, is a big theological problem, folks. It makes them go theologically, spiritually, completely insane. So, folks, I asked that question, and we're asking the question, why no one piped up in the 400 years that Ottoman Turks ruled? And you could say there were some Arabs, and they probably wanted their own country. They're the ones that wanted to rule, because Arabs, they're not exactly friends, even though everybody's a Muslim, right? It's all one big happy ummah. But at the end of the day, these guys are Arabs and these guys are Turks, right? My friends, and then I realized, besides this theological conundrum, there's an even more fascinating answer. In the 400 years that the Turks ruled the land of Israel, they made sure to let everybody know that they run stuff around here. that they are the boss, even though it's not their land, even though it's part of their greater empire, and they want to just extend their empire as far as they can go, as far as they can take it. All right? But if somebody came to them and said, hey guys, this ain't your land, you guys stole the land, you guys are occupiers, they would say, really? They would say, well, check out the Quran. They would say, any land that Islam or Muslims conquer is Islamic land. And we just so happen to be the Muslims, the specific Muslims, the Turks, not Arabs, not Persians, that conquered this land at this particular time for 400 years. So, what are you going to do about it? If you can do something about it, bust a move. You know, the words of Bernie Mac. And so I said to the little baby, bust a move. Bust a some move. And if you can't, sit down and shut up. Ladies and gentlemen, the Israeli wretched government that we have had for a while, when I say wretched because it's you see how they're behaving, they should take a page out of the playbook of the Ottoman Empire. What does that mean? I don't mean that we should say that we're occupiers and pretend to be occupiers, because we're not. This is our land, according to the Torah, according to Hashem. What we should do is we should say, this is our land, we're here, we have an army, we have an economy, we're back, we won a few wars, you tried to kill us, we won, let's eat, and that's it. And by the way, we're called the Jews, and where are we from? We're from a place called Judea. Not the West Bank, it's Judea and Samaria. Here's Hebron, here's Jerusalem, here's the Temple Mount, here's Shiloh, here's Bethel, here's Har Bracha, here's Susia, here's, on and on and on. My friends, just tell people. And if they have a problem, just say, you have a problem, you want us out, bust a move. Bust a something move. MFN move. As Bernie Mac, late great Bernie Mac would say. That's it, guys. So yeah, it is, at the end of the day, a theological conundrum for these folks, and that's why they didn't pipe up all those 400 years when the Ottomans were ruling the land of Israel. But the other reason is the Ottomans were ruling. And when you rule, you rule. To quote Bernie Mac, he's like, black people, when we at the job and we break, we break. We take a break, we break. White people eat their cheese sandwich, 15 minutes back on the job. Black people, we break. Folks, when we rule, we gotta rule. We gotta tell people, we're here. We're not going anywhere. We're not giving away any land. We're not pulling Jews out of their homes. We're not giving you anything. Not 1 inch, ladies and gentlemen. On top of that, listen, I had a lefty guy admit to me a couple of weeks ago at a wonderful, event in Jersey with Israelis. He told me, something, Tzvi? We could have kicked them out in 48 and 67 and 73, our cousins, after they, tried to attack us and we beat them. Today we can't kick them out. And I told him, you're right. It's a little bit hard, but what we can do is we can say, hey, we're here, you're here. And we could say, we have this wonderful thing in the Torah called Ger Toshav. If you want to live with us in the same land, we have one rule, one simple rule. Don't kill us. I'm going to do this like Norm Macdonald. Don't murder. It's like, imagine Norm Macdonald's doing his SNL, his SNL Weekend Update. In a turn of events, I can't do it. This is the only impression I can't do, Norm Macdonald. The Prime Minister of Israel come out and said to the Arabs, if you want to live with us, one simple rule, don't murder. Ladies and gentlemen, if they can just not murder, they can live with us. But if they're going to continue to murder, we have to tell them that there's consequences for doing so. And not wait 18 years before they really do something like October 7th. If they even so much as try to murder, like rockets and knives and cars and I don't know, axes, in the night in Itamar and Hebron and Tel Aviv and the bars and Yerushalayim. My friends, this is on us. This is really all on us. I mean, it doesn't get any more complicated than that. So, it's true, guys, that the fact that we came back to the land is a theological conundrum for them, problem, and that's why they're screaming now, because the Jews are not allowed to. The Jews, it's like usher. It's like the worst thing that can happen that the Jews have this land, right? For Islam, it's the worst thing, really the worst thing. This is a horrible thing for them. That's why they call it the Nakba, because it is a Nakba for that in their minds. It's a catastrophe. But on top of that, guys, the Turks were there for 400 years, and they made no bones about who's ruling. They didn't apologize to anybody. They didn't have any hasbara. They didn't have any explanations. They didn't write any letters to anybody saying, "Oh, guys, here's why we do this. Here's why we have our policemen and our military guys on horses, and here's why we take swords and chop and hit a Jewish guy or pretty much anybody else over the head, just like when we feel like it. Here's why we have our tax collectors come to Jews and whoever else and chop them into bitty pieces. Because we want to. Not that we do it, Has v'shalom, but folks, that's it. That's really all it is. It goes back to what I said today earlier. We just have to own it. That's it. Anyway, guys, hope I conveyed the message, and B'ezrat Hashem, people will now understand that this, on two levels. One is that all of these cries for free Palestine and all the rest of it, if only they had cried for freeing Palestine from the Ottomans for 400 years. And we should take a page out of that playbook, guys, out of the Ottoman playbook. If you're in charge of a country and it's your country, act like it. Act like it, guys. I'm going to quote, you guys see the movie Rudy? At the end, the coach, he gives a speech. It was our last game as seniors, and he goes, and it was a home game. And he's like, gentlemen, I want you to remember one thing. No one, and I mean no one, comes to our house and pushes us around. All right, guys. Talk to you soon.